Hey everybody, welcome to Now for Wrath. We are gonna give a little chat about the new army building, all the new stuff from the new edition. We've already talked about the rules leaks essentially, so we'll talk about all the profiles and armies we've seen, which are looking pretty cool.
Yeah, we're just chatting.
Just chatting.
We're just here chatting and sharing
now
opinions.
For chats.
Nice. Okay, first of all, not news, but interesting now that we've seen what they look like. Everything is now Legendary Legion-like.
Yep. No allying.
No allying, which is, I know, I hear that a lot of people don't like that. I totally get it. I like it.
Yeah.
I was getting sick of the soup that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. There were parts I liked and parts I did like.
Yeah.
I think everybody was tired of seeing the soup of, throwing things together that don't really feel right.
Right.
But sometimes I enjoyed, Rivendell and Khazad-dûm. That was fun.
That one I agree with, and hopefully we will see that
hopefully
as
we'll
a
see
Legion
like
down
that.
the road, because that was cool.
Yeah.
But I mean...
For the most part, most of your alliance choices were not great.
I also, in defense of just the competitiveness of the game, this is easier to keep balanced.
Yep.
It was really hard, I think, to balance alliances, because there's a lot of synergies that are hard to account for.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I completely understand that people feel like some of the creativity's gone. I also think for us, we have a huge collection of models, and yet it's kind of hard to make a lot of the lists that normally we had no problem with.
Yep.
Like Numenor, as an example. We bought enough Numenor to always ally, and now we're kind of just pigeonholed to okay, well, we're doing Last Alliance, and that's it. So, that's fine, but we have 24 Warriors of Minas Tirith, and I felt like that was plenty, and now I'm like... Most of these armies are now just Warriors of Minas. I just need more.
Yep.
So collection-wise, it's a little more samey.
Yeah, fewer options in a lot of these lists, which means you have to use more of the same thing,
Right?
which is tough for some of these armies
Right.
where we were used to
Being able to smatter stuff in.
Like in Mordor, you have a bunch of
Right.
different warrior options you can throw together.
Right.
But now a lot of them are just Mordor orcs or just Morannon orcs.
Right.
And there's no Black Numenorians anymore, so
Yep.
I think we're a little light on some of that. But the solution is we'll just play lower points for now and beef up what we like. And
that's exactly it. And that's fine. I do think some of the Legendary Legions are just really creative, and they're really cool. I mean, atop the wall, that's what I've wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted atop the wall in the previous edition, and we got it. And it's pretty cool.
And Ride Out is cool, too.
Ride Out is awesome.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought of that as a Legendary Legion. That's really cool. So some of them are just really neat, and some of them are still quite broad. I mean,
some of them are very broad.
Yeah, which does make them powerful. I think I'm getting ahead a little bit, but Men of the West, this is like playing last edition. There's a lot of stuff I can fit in here. So all in all, I'm happy with it, and I understand why people don't like it as much.
Yeah.
The creative list building is really cool. I personally prefer this approach.
Yeah.
And I think I'm in the minority there. So this is not me shilling for GW or anything like that, for James Workshop. Yeah. But I do prefer this more for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. And it's also worth keeping in mind that the third book, they have even said, in response to other people, it is going to add to these Legendary Legions. Right. So if they look a little narrow right now, some of them will still be, but some of them are going to be even more. Right. Some of them are, like we said, wide open, for a lot of stuff. So the worst ones will probably get a little better as, Black Numenorians come back and other things that weren't Legacy. Nothing's coming to mind, but there's a decent amount.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be cool. So, I don't know. What else? What do you want to talk about? How do we want to go in on this?
I guess another thing is the war gear options are more limited for warriors. They're, I think in all cases, warriors can at most choose one option.
Right.
Sometimes they have to choose one option.
Right.
Which I think has a lot of people peeling spears off of some of their models.
I have been repainting archers where I'm peeling spears off.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm okay with that change,
I'm okay with it, too. It really changes the bow game a lot.
Yeah.
You got to have a clump of bows now instead of, before you didn't really lose much by slapping a bow on a spear guy. It was well, sure, you can still spear support.
Right, exactly.
Now, sorry.
We've played one game so far. This will be live before that game, but we played a Last Alliance game, and my bows were my front rank.
Yep.
Because I was like, well, I'll put my spears behind the bows so that I still have a 2 deep, rank, or file. And it was very weird.
Yeah.
It felt weird deploying them in the front.
Yeah.
But if I put him behind, I don't get my spear support. So yeah, your brain has to rethink how like you organize your lines. It's pretty interesting.
To me, it's just like that's different, but not worse or better. Like I'm fine with that.
I don't really care.
It applies to everybody, other than like Rangers of Gondor.
I think. Is that true? Let me look that up. Jamie, can you pull up Garrison of Ithilien?
I think they still get them. But
yeah, they do indeed.
Speaking of which, all of this is in Tabletop Admiral now, if you want to check it
out.
Dude,
Tabletop Admiral has been my jam for this. Thank you for the tireless work of coding it, and you're welcome for all the hard work for the data.
Yep. We'll throw a link in the description to. But I guess the old edition data file will still be in the same place, and the new edition will just have a new URL.
Yeah, it's kind of, if you just click on your profile, it'll show. You can see both games. I actually just removed the old game eventually, but I had both, so it's pretty cool.
Sometimes I want to look up something to like compare what it used to be, so I left it for that. But
yeah, it is really fun right now because there's so many new lists that while I'm not necessarily doing the creative list building, I am just like looking at them and I'm like, okay, like wrapping my head around them. So there is a lot more to explore, and I'm sure a lot that we've missed.
One thing about all the new lists is a lot of these army bonuses are long, so when you're I guess you could look at it as a downside, like you go to a tournament now and you're facing something, you're like, okay, what does it do? Read me the 8 paragraphs.
That's right.
But it's cool though. It makes it more thematic, makes more unique and interesting things. So,
and again, I like a game that's living and balanced. Those are a lot easier to balance moving forward. It's like, you know what? This Legendary Legion's too powerful. We're going to tone this down.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. Yeah.
So, what do you think stands out so far for you, Legion-wise?
Legion-wise, well, I've always loved Last Alliance, and so I do think that's the first thing that drew my eye, because the Whirl of Steel rule is just super cool. Yeah. And that's like one of the cool, like right in the beginning of the movie, you see them all flipping up the swords. I'm like, I've always wanted that. Yeah. And now you get that.
Yeah. So if you don't know, if they don't move, if an elf doesn't move in a turn, and they get charged, then they roll a d6, and on a 6, they deal a wound. It's not a strike, it's just a wound, so it's pretty cool.
Which is super cool. And Numenorians get a little benefit for fighting along with an elf, which I always like that. They get to reroll ones if they're supported by or supporting one.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. Obviously, Elendil losing a horse, that hurts. R.I.P.
Gil-galad losing a horse, too.
Yeah, Gil-galad losing a horse and shield and strike, which... We talk about in our other video, but he's still great at Fight 9, and because Strike got nerfed, but there are still times you would love to get to 10.
Yep.
But that's okay.
Interesting now, Numenorians being Fight 5, you kind of lose that, like, it was all like you felt like you found a loophole by adding Numenorians to your elves, because you're like, now I get Fight 5 and Strength 4, but now you get Fight 5 anyway.
That's right.
But it's still nice.
Which does make me a little more interested in trying pure Numenor.
Yeah.
Seems pretty cool now. Fight 5 is pretty great, and their bows got updated.
Yeah.
Now they're the Strength 3 longbows, so I'm kind of into
it. Longbows are nice, We gotta get Isildur, I guess.
Yeah, we have him. I just gotta paint him. A lot to paint. We got a big old backlog.
All
right, what about you? What list?
Man, that Army of the White Hand with Saruman, the army bonus for that one is bananas.
Can I read that?
Yeah.
I pulled it up here, because they are awesome. So, Army of the White Hand, the Voice of Saruman is the name of the rule. During his activation, Saruman can use one of the following abilities instead of casting a magical power. Each of these abilities can only be used once per game, and these are the 3. Is it 3 or more?
I think it's 3.
Conjure Lightning. This is tight. Just chooses a point on the battlefield at least 12 inches away from a friendly model. Yep. Which actually, that could be tough.
Yep.
In a scenario where you start right on top of each other, but with the exception of Grima, you can zap him, you don't care.
Yeah.
Each model within 2 inches of the chosen point suffers a strength 6 hit.
Yeah.
If a cavalry model is affected, both the rider and the mount will suffer a strength 6 hit. Dude, that's pretty tasty. It's a 2-inch radius, right? So it's a 4-inch diameter circle that just...
So you're going to get probably, if someone doesn't spread out all their stuff, what do you think? You're going to get 4, maybe 8 models on a battle line, maybe more.
Yeah.
But it's also, you can't resist it. So
there's no resistance.
Worst case, you just do it on a mounted hero. And you're
right.
Like, sorry.
That's really good, dude. Yeah. That's really cool.
I mean, if you roll like garbage on it. It doesn't really do anything, but still.
It's still a strength 6 hit. Most warriors are killing on a 4.
Yep.
And a 4-inch radius, or diameter, you're probably, like your point, hitting at least 8 if they're tightly packed.
So, yeah, you're going to do what you would do against like a ballista where you scatter all your guys around, which has a lot of downsides.
Yeah, man. It's really nasty.
It's gross.
And then Summon Gale is the other one. Summon your friend Gale. Gale from Baldur's Gate.
Bring Gale over here.
Hey, Gale. Until the end of the turn, enemy models have their move value.
Oh, my God. That's so good.
That's so good, dude. Oh, my gosh.
Do it early, like when you're both racing to get to an objective, or do it like mid-game when you don't want anybody wrapping around and getting to things. It's just like...
It is weird because it's on his activation, not the start of the turn.
Right.
So you want to do it on a turn, ideally, where you lost priority and they call a march. And you're like, oh, man, enjoy that march.
Where you lost priority, you'd have to...
I'm sorry, where you won priority,
right.
Where you won priority, and they marched.
Yep.
And then just be like, take that 9 inches.
Enjoy your 4.5, yeah.
Burn your might for that.
That's
so good.
Yeah.
And then the other one is Call Thunder, which is until the end of the turn, enemy models have the Fearful special rule.
Which is
also really nasty.
Especially if you're fighting like a low courage army.
You're fighting orcs or something.
A high courage value army.
That's the least exciting one, I think, but it's still pretty good. And then I like this rule. You can also use Line of Sight from Crebain for him to cast spells. So he could be completely hidden and cast spells from Crebain. It's really cool, man.
It's really good.
I love it.
And he has a new good rule, or what is it? At the start of the game, he can select an enemy hero model, and they get -1 to their resist rolls, which is strong.
So
he doesn't get the reroll anymore, so you kind of trade. But most casters don't get the reroll anymore, so at least he got something pretty nasty.
Yep. And he kept a lot of his 18-inch spell range on Compel and Transfix, which, man, it's really cool.
That's a good one,
He's really good.
Does that one have Berserkers in it?
Let me see.
Because the Uruk-hai Berserkers are
Jamie,
standing out to me.
can you pull up the Warriors? No Berserkers.
Okay.
But and this is weird. You only get Orcs and Uruk-hai Scouts and Wildmen.
Yeah.
Which is cool. The Wildmen are neat because you can get the Flaming Brands and they're super cheap. So this is going to be an interesting army. We don't own
we're not going to be able to run this
any of the right stuff for this, but we bought the starter
orcs,
set. So when I paint those Wildmen, we'll have Orcs and Wildmen.
Yeah.
And I do have a slew of, I think I have 24 Scouts. I just got to paint them. Oh, there's so much to paint.
Yeah.
There's so much to paint.
Just take a sec.
Yep. I love it. I love Saruman.
Yeah, that one looks awesome.
That looks super good. Let's see, what else? I am excited about Men of the West.
Yeah.
I think Men of the West looks super cool. It's one of the only ways you can get soupy Gwaihir into something. And I think Gwaihir looks fantastic now. Yeah. I mean, he didn't get a huge change other than the changes to monster, but he got 3
150% of the attacks he used to have.
3 attacks is pretty great. You can get Gwaihir. You can also just get Eagles in there, which feels super cool.
Yeah.
And as far as I can tell, that is the only place where a caster gets a die reroll. Does the Crown give the Witch King a reroll now?
I don't think so. I think it gives him something else, but I don't remember
we'll
what
look at that in a second. Yeah. But this is the only one that I recall now where someone can reroll a die.
Yeah.
So Gandalf the White could be pretty good in this, but also, I mean, Aragorn King Elisar is nuts.
Yeah.
He's nuts.
I think that one's going to be great.
I think that's going to be a
cool variety of warriors, too.
Yep.
Take your pick. Yeah. I like it, yeah.
Yeah, we got to try that.
But. Similarly, I like the way that Pelennor, Defenders of Pelennor, they get a once per game, all of your heroes, each hero can once per game, so it doesn't have to all be the same turn, can call a free heroic combat. So if you do like a hero-heavy version of that, you can just, I don't know.
That's pretty good,
That plus all the might you already get, you can be heroic combating all day.
God, that's going to be a
pretty
good
fun,
one, too.
Yeah.
Man.
And speaking of, because I assume that, the Dead Boys are in there.
I forgot the Dead Boys are in this one.
Army of the Dead got some cool buffs. 8-inch move for the Warriors, and then 12-inch for the Riders.
Dude.
Which I think is nasty. That's gonna
And
be fun.
Spectral Walk got better. It used to just be water, which I remember watching the movie and being like, why'd they go? Because there's a scene where they come out of the ships, but then later it shows them just swarming over stuff. So the rule is more in line with what they get now, but dude,
I'm pretty into that one.
They look awesome.
They look great. 8-inch movement is
I really wish I would have bought those clear, clear cast Warriors of the Dead? God, maybe we can find them on eBay.
Yeah.
Probably for a lot, though.
If you have them, just send them to us.
For real, if you have them, I'd be interested in buying them. Maybe.
For free.
Yeah, I mean, not like for a markup.
After all we've done for you.
What else, dude? We've only talked about good so far. What evil is sticking out to you?
Well, we talked about Saruman, but
right.
the Balrog also looks pretty nice now. He's 8-inch move now.
The 8-inch move made
Pretty
a big
tasty.
difference. Did he get anything else other than the better changes to... Yep. Also the better changes to monsters in general.
Yeah, so if you're not keeping up, Dominant, a lot of monsters got Dominant now, which means they count as X models for the purpose of objectives. So I think Balrog's Dominant 8 or something, maybe.
Dominant
something high.
10.
10. Yeah.
Looking at it right now.
He counts as 10 models, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. What else? Does he have anything else? He already had resistant to magic. Pretty much the rest of his stuff stayed mostly the same, but he has fight 10. Was he always fight 10? I think he was.
I think so, yeah.
Dude, he does look really sick. But to me, the biggest thing is that 8-inch move.
Yeah.
He was tough to get into place before. But 8-inch move. I want to try Moria soon, for sure.
Yeah.
Or Depths of Moria.
Speaking of Moria, the Watcher got a needed nerf. Now he can't, when he pulls a model into him, he can't pull him into combat with another model. So the classic pull a model into you and the bats thing can't be done anymore.
Praise James Workshop. Yeah. Honestly, that was maybe the rule I had the most issue with.
Yeah.
And a lot of people used it because it was so broken.
Yep.
Such a huge issue with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't actually read that yet, so I'm just going to read that really quickly. Is it Grasping Tentacles or Dragged to the Depths? It's Grasping Tentacles. Okay. In the shoot phase, the Watcher in the water may make D6 shooting attacks. They have a range of 6. Did they used to be range 12? I don't know. I think they might have been range 12, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
A strength of 3. I also think that might have gone down, but I don't remember either. And never requiring the way rolls. That was the same. The Watcher can still make these shooting attacks regardless of how far it moved in the move phase and never suffers the -1 penalty for moving and shooting. Additionally, any model that is hit by the tentacle and is not slain will be removed from the board and then placed anywhere in base contact with the Watcher in the water as chosen by the Watcher in the water's controlling player. A cavalry model that is hit will have the whole model dragged in this way, and for whatever reason the model cannot be placed in base contact, is not moved at all. If a model placed in this way would end up in base contact with other enemy models in addition to the Watcher, then those models do not count as being engaged in combat with this model unless they subsequently charge the placed model, which they wouldn't be able to do because this is in the shooting step unless by a heroic combat.
Yeah.
The Watcher can still make, or a barge or whatever. The Watcher can still make these shooting attacks whilst engaged in combat. Yeah, that's a great fix for the Watcher.
Yep,
man.
still good, I'm sure.
He's still good, but he's not ridiculous. Yeah, I think he's still pretty good.
Move, right?
Yeah, he's also got Dominant 6. He can pop up places. He's got Harbinger of Evil. I think he's still pretty cool.
Yep. We'll get him on the table. We do have him. We just never use him because
we've
he's so
never
toxic.
used him. And it's the one I have is really cool. I like it a lot better than the Lobster.
Yeah.
The GW Lobster. What else? What other list? Ooh, I want to try Wraiths on Wings. We only have the Witch King and one other. I have a box of another Nazgul. But you could probably make a pretty compelling list with 3 of them.
Yeah.
Just like at lower points. Because they got a lot of love.
Yeah.
They get to do the little like they basically have an impact hit now. So when they charge, they immediately get a single strength 5 hit on things. And they can fly over stuff and do like a strafing attack. They just like knock a dude prone and do a strength 5 hit. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So utilizing your 12-inch fly, you could just be like dive bombing and casting spells. It seems pretty fun.
Yeah. I
do not love how ring wraiths are now. I really like the ability to like choose how much stuff they had.
Yeah, so there's basically 3 options for ring wraith, or not options, sorry. 3 versions of ring wraiths and 3 versions of the Witch King, with varying amounts of attacks.
Yeah.
And will, and I think that's all. So depending on the army, you have to use one of them. So sometimes some armies have the weak ones, some have the beefed up ones, but yeah.
I understand why, but I actually liked the old. I thought that was the coolest thing about the Nazgul was that you could choose what you want to do. So we'll see.
They're not feeling super strong in this.
Nah, they're not. Yeah. They're really not. The Witch King definitely feels a lot worse.
Yep.
Because at his beefiest, he's like so expensive.
Yep.
I wanted to read the Crown of Mordor because I just forgot it, so I'm just going to read that real quick. While wearing the crown, enemy models within 6 inches of the Witch King or attempting to charge the Witch King cannot benefit from special rules that allow them to automatically pass courage tests. That actually is pretty good.
Cool, yeah.
So no Fearless, no Bodyguard.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Except for Heroic Resolve. Additionally, once per game at the start of any fight phase, the Witch King can imbue its great power to ignite his hand weapon. Until the end of the turn, any model that suffers a wound from a strike made by the Witch King is also set ablaze. That makes him a pretty decent little hero assassin, but he's still... His fight's 6.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I don't know that I'm paying 25 points for that.
No. I don't think I would.
But it does negate Fearless, which makes him a lot harder to tie up.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to play with him. I'm excited to play with him.
Yep.
Try it out. All right, what else do you want to talk about?
I mean, in general, I think we like the way monsters are looking. Low model count armies like Ints. I think we're excited to try Int at some point.
I'm pretty excited to try Ints.
Just looks fun. I mean, and Dominant takes away one of their big weaknesses.
That's right. Makes it a lot easier for them. Yeah, monsters got some much needed love, man.
Which is great. We're going to see a lot more of the iconic cool stuff on the board, yeah. I wish Gandalf got a little more love. In fact, I think rather than Gandalf matching all other casters now, I think all casters just got kind of nerfed down to Gandalf's level. I don't think Gandalf the Grey really got anything good, did he?
I don't remember. Let me look. Jamie, can you pull that up?
Either way, no rerolls.
While I'm pulling that up, looking at the Fellowship, let's talk about Legolas's glow up.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he got great.
Shooting while in combat now, right?
Shooting while in combat?
And he can still do both of his special shots while in combat, right? Like,
I think so. Let's take a look at his profile here in a second, but I'm just pulling up Gandalf the Grey. Fight 5, he still has Glamdring. Staff of Power, I mean, his spells...
I don't know if we've seen the definition for Staff of Power yet.
I think we have.
Okay.
It's a hand and a half staff. He can use the stun specials, unless this is the old rules.
Oh, it's the old rules.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, then maybe we haven't.
I'm sure someone's seen it. It's probably just not.
Yeah. Okay. He has foil magic. I don't know. There's not a lot of things you want to foil anymore. Not a lot of ongoing effects.
Not really.
Yeah. He doesn't seem great.
I guess both Gandalfs got a little better at fighting, if I remember right. At least Gandalf the White did. He's 3 attacks now.
Gandalf the Grey's 2 attacks. He used to be only 1.
And I think Gandalf the White's 3 and used to be 2. So
which ain't nothing. Cause he's strength 4 and then has Glamdring. So
yeah. But yeah, a lot of points to spend on.
A lot of points to spend on that. But, yeah. What's Gandalf the Grey cost? Gandalf Stormcrow 170. Yeah, I don't know about that.
I've never been a believer in Gandalf the Grey.
No.
I've had arguments about that,
but let's talk about Legolas for 100 points. Okay.
Yeah, Legolas is bananas now.
So he has Sharpshooter, which is great because you can target horses. Final Count 42 got a little better for him, right? I don't think he used to have +1 to wound. I think it was +1 to hit.
Maybe so.
I think that got better. But you have to have Gimli with you. Which Gimli, he kind of stayed the same. Okay, so he has Deadly Shot. Let's just read this. So, okay, Deadly Shot. Legolas may make 3 shooting attacks during the shoot phase instead of 1, using all the normal rules, blah, blah, blah. Additionally, he can still make shooting attacks whilst engaged. Okay, so
doesn't say he can only make normal shooting attacks whilst engaged. I mean,
this is true. This is true. And does not suffer the -1 penalty for moving and shooting so long as he has the infantry keyword. A lot of lists have him mounted, but that's okay. If Legolas shoots whilst he is engaged in combat, he may shoot at models he is engaged in combat with, and does not need to make in the way test for shooting at models he is engaged in combat with. Dude.
So presumably he could shoot the thing he's engaged with 3 times, right?
Yeah, it's just 3 strength 3 hits.
And
on
he's
the
a
thing
base 2 shoot now, right?
Yeah, he's a base 2 up shoot.
It's so good.
Dude, he's so good. And then he also has Pinpoint Shot. Instead of shooting normally, he may make a single shooting attack against an enemy model engaged in combat with a friendly model, including himself. If he does, then if the 2-hit roll is successful, he doesn't need to make any in the way rolls. The shot will automatically hit its target. I don't know why you'd ever use that.
Unless we're not understanding something correctly about the other shooting in combat part. Because, why would you ever not just shoot... Well, I guess shooting models in another combat, you'd have to do the pinpoint shot.
You'd want to do pinpoint shot to shoot into another combat, yeah.
But to your own, I mean...
Dude,
just
Deadly Shot. He just gets 3 strength 3 hits before we even roll for the duel.
I think we're going to see a lot of Legolas.
I think we're going to see a lot of Legolas,
He's in some cool lists, too, so I mean, yeah.
Dude.
Oh, boy.
He's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm excited about him. Good.
That's a real glow up for Leggy.
Yeah.
And he wasn't bad last edition. You were a big believer in him, but he just got way better. Yeah. Gosh, there's so many cool things. What else?
I mean, I guess, I don't know if the Aragorn Strider rules were revealed when we did our first chat about this. But
I don't know.
Strider's looking good.
Strider's looking real good, dude.
Gets resistance to magic now. He got a real glow Mighty Hero. Well, he already had Mighty Hero, but I mean...
Hey, have we looked at Shelob at all?
I wouldn't dare.
You wouldn't want to look at that? You know what? I don't think I've looked at Kira Thungol. She looks largely the same. Fight 7. Same kind of stuff. Survival instinct.
Yeah.
I hate survival instinct.
Yeah.
She's still only 1 attack. She does have monstrous charge again. She should have been 2 attacks, but she's only 100 points, though. Is she always 100 points?
I think so.
Okay.
She's not, I don't know. We'll see. She's a little bit dicey, but she could be nasty.
But she always gets She Hungers for sweeter meats now. That used to be just in the previous Kira Thungol.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can... Start of her activation, she can eat a friend to reroll. Okay, yeah. I think that's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
All right, what were we looking at? What was the other thing you brought up?
Just talking about Strider getting a bit
of a
yes. blow up. Oh, wait, and also LSR essentially getting the same
Yeah, but Strider's also available on a lot more lists.
Yeah.
He's available in Defenders of the Pelennor. He's available in Ride Out, which looks pretty fun.
Yeah.
We'll see. The Force to Charge with Cavalry is actually kind of rough on Ride Out, but...
Yeah. But I think it's going to be a very fun list.
It
might not be like
mega
optimal. Theoden got a little help now. He wins ties if you're tied on fight value. A couple things got that right.
Yeah. What else got
still
that?
Fight 5, sadly, but I think... was it some of the riders or Royal Guard or something?
It was someone... Oh, it's Boromir's Banner.
Oh, right, yeah.
Boromir's Banner does
so
that
they're fighting 4.5 instead of...
I like that.
Yeah, that's a fine
That's a
six,
good change.
Theoden, I was still kind of hoping he would get fight 6, but that's fine. He's an old man.
He's an old man, dude. He's just,
A lot of the other Rohan heroes got the fight bump.
They did. They finally got the bump.
Which 6 is kind of the new 5.
6 is the new 5, but that's okay.
But you're still...
Makes sense.
I think the main thing I like is that at least you're out fighting warriors now.
Yeah, you're out fighting elf warriors.
Like, Theoden can charge some elves and feel okay about it.
Not Theoden. He's still 5, isn't he?
Yeah, but he...
Oh, because of Herogrim. Right, of course. Yep.
So, at least there's that. I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I like that, too. There's some interesting rules, or interesting lists, like Realms of Men.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of an interesting one to explore. It's like all nameless kings.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I kind of dig it.
Yeah. Nameless, and you can take the nameless kings, but with captains, and you get a different bonus depending on which faction your king is from. Which, I think it's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
You can make a soupy list.
Yeah.
This is Gondor, Arnor, Rohan, is there one
Numenor, Dale.
Dale, yeah. So
you know Dale?
Yeah. So you can mash all 5 of those together, which is cool.
Where are their special rules?
I think if you click each one of them, they have their rules. It's just like some of them are just they get like a fight bump or a might bump or something.
Yeah. Okay. That could be cool.
Yeah.
Just as a fun no name. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the list that kind of are disappointing. There's a couple that are a little disappointing. I think the Legions of Mordor list not really doing it for me.
It just doesn't have a cool bonus. It doesn't even have I guess it has the most variety of any list, but you don't really get anything that you can't.
You don't feel like there's some
elsewhere.
good synergy.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe the third book maybe will help it out. I think it's kind of a catch-all almost for Mordor.
Right. Black Numenorians could still be tasty.
Yeah.
They didn't get Legacy, right?
Right. They're just they got renamed or something, but they're coming in the third book.
Yeah, that's right. I think they'll be.
And it's got some Easterling stuff in there, so you got your...
Easterling and Haradrim, if I remember right. You can take a Mumik in Mordor now.
Yeah. Sure, why not?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, Mordor feels like the leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. Maybe it'll be good. Or, I guess it's the only place you can take a few things, so we'll see.
Yeah, they'll probably get some love with new stuff. Because we're only seeing what was in the movies.
Yeah.
What about Blackgate? You were excited about the Blackgate.
Blackgate looked good. I don't remember why. Well, the new chieftain is... Because now the chieftain has 4 wounds, but your leader also gets the extra might.
Extra might, will, and fate. And he's fearless. I don't think he got fearless before.
Right.
I could be wrong about that.
So, I mean, that chieftain gets pretty beefy in that one.
He does.
And with the dominant and everything, makes a pretty good bump over what it used to be.
And they still get the +1 to wound. The orcs still get the +1 to wound if they outnumber. So you can still go for like a total beefy, chiefy horde. And then, okay, let's read this one. The Temptation of Sauron. At the start of each move phase, before the declare heroic action step, you may choose a single enemy model on the battlefield. The chosen model must immediately take an intelligence test. If the test has failed, you may immediately move the chosen model up to its move value. Blah, blah, blah. Chosen model may not move later. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So what's that called?
It's basically a super compel. Or it's like the Spectre.
Yeah, whatever that's called.
That's pretty good, dude.
Yeah, I like that.
And you can only have Moran in orcs, which sort of sucks, because it's harder to get to a horde.
Mm-hmm.
But in the Mouth of Sauron, did he change much?
I think a little, but I don't remember what. I don't think it was anything major.
Harbinger, Sense of Impending Doom. They cannot reroll ones as part of a dual roll. That's a niche thing, but a lot of them have
That's a lot more common now.
Still, that's kind of niche.
Yeah.
Drain Courage, Curse, and Transfix. So it doesn't have Compel.
No. But the army bonus has sort of a compel, so that's cool.
Yeah, I kind of dig it. I think it'll be a fun
I don't
one.
hate it. I think that troll already being pretty good now, and getting that.
Because he's 4 wounds and 3 might.
Fight 7, right? Or is the chieftain 8?
Chieftain is 8. That's pretty tasty.
He's got strike now and 4
He's got
wounds
strength and strike. That's pretty tasty, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. All right, we're just kind of going through cool lists now, things I'm excited about. Yeah. But what else? What else we want to touch on? New starter set coming in a week.
Yep.
I'm excited for that. I'm pretty excited to see the movie, and I do think the profiles we've seen from the new stuff look pretty fun.
Yeah.
I mean, Hera, Bride of Death, where you can't strike against her. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she seems cool.
She seems neat.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we'd be curious what stands out to you all, because we're just kind of...
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to tell just reading everything what really stands out.
What do you think is going to be really powerful? Let's take a step back. Even outside of lists, what do you think is going to be big for this edition?
I think Legolas is going to be everywhere.
I'm going to go broader than that and say I think shooting's going to be really important.
Yeah.
Because we've seen 6 missions, right? And only one of them is a midline deployment. Yeah. And one of them is Maelstrom. And all the rest of them have 24 inches betwixt you. Yeah. Which gives shooting armies a lot more opportunity. I think previously it was maybe half the list had that. Yeah.
At least now there's the downside of them not being spear supports in most cases, but
they're not spear supports anymore, but also blinding light is a lot nerfed.
Yeah.
It is a lot less prevalent, doesn't last the whole round. So I think shooting, and I don't like that very much.
I was going to say, I don't think either of us would have wished for stand back and shoot to be a more common thing, but you just have to build against it, I guess, or embrace it and be a bad shooty boy.
Yeah, but, those ones that are 12-inch tournaments, still you have to get out and do stuff, except for To the Death. Sorry. Spoiler alert, we played To the Death, and I was last alliance with a lot of bows. Yeah. And Worlds of Steel.
That was a bunch of D5 orcs.
D5 orcs. Yeah, it was great.
It went great, yeah.
Yeah, I think but I think we're going to see big heroes and monsters. I mean, this is not a unique prediction. I think a lot of people are feeling that, but they got a lot of love. Yep. Big heroes and monsters.
I think we're going to see a lot less magic, too.
I think you're right.
Maybe not a lot less, but less effective magic either way.
Less oppressive magic, too. Less 3-caster lists like you like to run. Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot less.
Yep. Which, probably good.
I'm okay with it. I want it to still matter, but I don't necessarily want it to be game-ruining oppressive, you know?
I do worry for the evil magic. I feel like it's kind of
their thing.
Yeah. But we'll see.
I will say, as I'm looking at the list, I feel like evil got the short end of the stick here. Yeah. I'm like, evil, there's not one evil list other than, I think, Army of the White Hand, that I'm like, ooh, that looks good. Yeah. I'm kind of like, you could do that. Yeah. That looks cool. But then I look at good ones, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. I can't remember what about the Uruk-hai Berserkers stood out to me, but something about them seemed really
Let's look. Which one is that in? Muster? The Mustard of Isengard? Yeah, Uruk-hai Berserkers and that, and probably other ones too. Okay, so they're fight 5, 2 attacks, and they have their Berserker Blade, hand in half. Additionally, if you win a combat while using the Berserker Blade, it's a 2-handed weapon, they make a single strike against every enemy they were engaged in combat with. Okay.
Yeah. Not as good, but the 2 attacks and 15 points and fight 5 seems pretty strong.
Yeah, and they have that D6.
And they can get spear supports too, so you can get a 2 attack front line for only 15 points is not that bad because
and to your point, 3 if you then spear support him.
I think and being fight 5,
4 if you pike support him.
Yeah.
Right?
I think there's...
Put your Uruk-hai Berserkers up front.
Yeah, and they're very good courage. They're, 3 up courage, so not going to
That's not new. Rolls. You could do that in the previous edition, but the difference is now 6s on two-handed weapons count as a 6.
Yeah.
I love that change, by the way. That makes that a lot less painful to do.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. I like the Berserkers. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dang.
I mean, it's an investment, but I think it's... if you face that, you're not...
We could order some of those, paint up 6 or something. Just 6 would probably be a lot to add to the army.
Yeah. I like my 2 attack warriors.
You do. Speaking of which, Hunter Orcs got kind of nerfed.
Yeah, they only have 2 attacks if they charge now, right? Yeah. Which, I don't think they were good. They were great.
Did they get cheaper, though, or no?
I don't know.
Yeah, they're 8 points. 8 points default. And still only D4.
Yeah. Squishy front line.
And squishy boys.
You gotta charge or you're losing them all.
And that's tough against these 24-inch deployment.
Yep.
I don't know. The time of the Hunter Orc might not be here until we get some new missions or something.
Who knows? Well, I mean, our takes could be completely
we have no
wrong.
idea. We've played one game. We don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, let us know. Sound off in the comments. What do you agree with? What have we missed? Because, man, I love discovering new stuff. We're missing all kinds of stuff, I'm sure. Tell us what you're excited about. We want to hear about it. Anything else you want to add here, my man?
I think that's all. We're I think, pretty positive about all this.
We are.
I know there's a lot of not positive, and that's fair, but I think we're embracers of change and just glad to see things get tweaked to where it freshens things up so much. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Again, we understand why people might be upset about things, but I am here for all of it that we've seen so far. And I'm excited. This video, we're putting this out this week, right?
I think so, yeah. We'll put the...
Do we want to try to put it out? Because we could now talk about how we're going to stream. We'll do that. Let's do that in a short. We're going to be streaming.
Community poll or whatever.
Yeah. We're going to be streaming this weekend, we think, on Sunday.
I think so.
We think so.
Yeah.
This is a definite maybe on streaming this week. Okay, cool. I got nothing else. Thank you for joining us. This has been fun. We're very excited.
Yep. Thanks.
All right. Adios.